Hello YouTube! Today another video in the series People of the Elder Scrolls, and today we will talk about a character that we all remember fondly. Thalmor Ambassador Elenwen. Since this video is focused on only one character, it will be probably very short, so let's just immediately start with the video. Elenwen is a Thalmor ambassador to the Imperial province of Skyrim. As an ambassador, she is the official head of the embassy staff. She is often called First Emissary. This essentially means that she is the one to be first contacted on diplomatic matters in Skyrim that regard the Thalmor. You also have a second and even a third emissary on the embassy. If one of the high-ranking figures is not available, then, well, in that order, those are the ones to be contacted first. She and the rest of the embassy staff have been sent to Skyrim with a very simple mandate. Enforce the terms of the White Gold Concordat. This means stamp out the worship of Talos in any way that they see fit, and this means rounding up the remaining Blades agents. Another part of her task is to make sure that the Thalmor's goals are met in the Imperial province of Skyrim. This means she has to do her part and to make sure that the Empire gets weaker. She and the embassy staff do this by trying to prolong the civil war, so that the Empire wastes more resources. It is stated multiple times within the embassy files that the Thalmor are, well, they see both an Imperial and a Stormcloak victory as something to be avoided. So this means that they do not want any side to win and just to have the war go on as long as possible. We can see this especially in a piece of deleted dialogue from the intro of Skyrim, well, unused, not deleted, because it's still in the game files, where she basically demands General Tullius to surrender the prisoners at the beginning of the game, so including Ulfric Stormcloak and the Dragonborn, to the Thalmor. She wants this no doubt with the intent to then accidentally release Ulfric so that the war will be prolonged after that. Unfortunately for her, in that conversation, Tullius stood his ground and resumed with the execution, to her anger, because she then starts screaming at him. She also later forces herself on the Imperial delegation to the Peace Council by the Greybeards, probably with the hope of sabotaging the negotiations by allowing General Tullius to not make any concessions when it comes to the White Gold Concordat terms. Now, Tullius never made any concessions to it, because he knows that it will get him a lot of problem with the Thalmor if he does, but if he or any of the other people from the Imperial delegation would dare say something against it, it could result in a lot of trouble for them and for the Empire as a whole. Fortunately, the Dragonborn can send her away from those negotiations. And most people probably did that, but if you let her stay, she won't do much during the negotiations, as again, nobody budges about the White Gold Concordat, it's all just a negotiation about territory and peace. She and the embassy staff also tried to weaken the Empire by trying to cozy up to Skyrim's elite, by hosting extravagant parties to sort of, well, turn the elite's opinion on the Thalmor, so that when the time comes for a new war, the elite might not support the Empire and rather support the Thalmor because they think that the Empire is a sinking ship. People like Elisif and Sidgeir at the party fall completely for the trick. Others just play along to make more money out of the tense situation between the nations, like Erdiker. Others, like the Jarl of Morthal, Ignot Ravencrone, see through the tricks and see that the Thalmor are just putting on pretty faces but are lying to you. And there's people like General Tullius and Jarl Balgruuf who don't even want to be there, but still do their diplomatic duty by showing up. So as you see, while she says, as long as the Empire continues to uphold its treaty obligations, my government does not concern itself with the internal politics of Skyrim, she and her government clearly do care about the internal politics of Skyrim, just not openly. Another thing we can see that in is that, well, she can stamp out Talos worship in any way she sees fit. So, if she wanted to, she could just, send letters to people with stop worshipping Talos and just imprison them in an Imperial prison. But what she does, she basically just stamps it out by sending, well, a sort of Gestapo-like Justiciar squad to just basically kill all Talos worshippers and jail them. Probably also to make the Empire look bad. I mean, Talos stamping out Talos worship, you don't have to kill people for it, but she wants to. What her personality concerns, she is a ruthless but very talented politician with a tactical mind. She knows what to say and how to say it and when to say it. to make sure that she can get her message across without explicitly provoking someone with her words or explicitly saying something against some terms. And yet her words are always overshadowed by the tone and choice of words that indicates a deeper meaning to them. While the Imperial representatives like General Tullius absolutely cannot stand her, they cannot help but have respect for her abilities, and in case of General Tullius, just wish that she was on their side instead of the enemy's side. As ambassador, she holds a tight grip over the embassy staff, having a pseudo-cult of fear in the embassy when she establishes her own authority beyond question over the lower embassy staff. She is also said to be very vindictive, so if you did something wrong once in her presence, she will remember that forever and will get back on you for it. That's why a lot of people, even your closest of friends, when at the Thalmor embassy party, will hesitate before helping you to cause a scene. Because, you don't want to get on Elenwen's bad side. That's probably one of the reasons she is so friendly with Maven Blackbriar, but then again. While publicly she is only involved in a relationship with the government of Skyrim and of the Empire, and she is publicly being responsible for the Justiciar's actions, she is also personally involved in hunting down the remaining Blades agents, and is often presented at or even conducts interrogations of the captured witnesses. Like, we can find a file that literally says that she sometimes wants to do the interrogations herself of people that have leads to the Blades agents that are still hiding in Skyrim. As I made clear, she holds a relatively high position with a lot of responsibility. And to get to such a position, one needs to have the favor of the government of your country, so in her case, the Thalmor. And not just that, you need the trust of the Aldmeri leadership to carry out that duty well, and the trust that you will remain loyal, because if for some reason the ambassador is no longer loyal, and she oversees the Justiciar's actions, well then the Empire can just break the Concordat Treaty without anyone noticing. And she is the one responsible for enforcing the treaty in Skyrim. That is a kind of trust that's only built after years of serving the Thalmor. As stated in the game, she was already part of the Thalmor during the Great War. Back then she worked in intelligence. We don't know exactly what her function was from back then, but she was the one interrogating the back in the war hero Ulfric Stormcloak after he got captured by Thalmor forces. Whether she was just a simple interrogator or a part of the command of the Thalmor intelligence division, we don't know, because even at the high point where she is now, she sometimes still likes to interrogate people herself. So what her position back then was, we don't know, since Ulfric back then already had a lot of traction, and interrogating an Imperial and war hero would be something that she would want to do herself, so we cannot really deduce her position back then. But we do know that she has a lot of years of loyal service on her resume. After the Great War, she apparently continued rising in the ranks and eventually landed the ambassador's position to Skyrim. And that's basically all that we know about her history, other than that she was sent after the Markarth incident. Unless there was a previous ambassador, but from the dialogue that we have, we get the impression that she is the first and has always been the ambassador to Skyrim. But then again, we don't know at the moment. On a last note, there are two characters in the Elder Scrolls universe that share her name, Elenwen. One is an Altmer in Elder Scrolls Online that you basically find during a quest while her village is burning, and the other is an Altmer in Morrowind that will attack the player. Now, it's possible that one of these is her when she was younger due to the long lifespans of Altmer, but I doubt that that's the case. I mean, there would have been some sort of hint about her past if she was either of those Elenwens. I just think that, there's a certain amount of Elvish names and they just have to reuse some of them. But I like the theories that they are one of the same. But then again, I personally very much doubt it, and I don't see it very likely, so do with the info what you wish. I just think it's a coincidence, but the possibility exists. And with that said, we have basically said everything that there is to know about Elenwen at this point. If you are very much interested in Elenwen, I really recommend doing the quest in the main quest a couple of more times with the diplomatic immunity, as the party guests have some very interesting dialogue about her occasionally. But then again, that's a very tiring process. But the other guests, you never see all the guests at once, and I basically listen to all the dialogue, and some of it's pretty interesting. I put the gist of it in this video, but it's still very interesting to listen to, and you learn a lot of things about the current situation of Tamriel at that embassy. It's literally one of the most interesting parts of the game, in my opinion, as long as you analyze the dialogue and not just play the game. But then again, that's just me, and I'm a nerd. With that said, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe. If you want personal contact with me, there's my Discord and Instagram in the description. If you want to support me in a more personal way, then there's my Patreon. You get your name at the end of every video and occasional Patreon rewards. And with that said, I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.